Okay, today we'll see principles of human development. Principles of human development. Uh, Human development unfolds through continuous, sequential, predictable patterns influenced by both heredity and environment, with individuals' differences playing crucial role. So when we say these principles of human development, we discuss on how development proceeds and the rates at which development proceeds. So we'll see these breakdowns of human development and different. These principles of human development are controversies of human development. They are controversial in that different developmental psychologists suggest different arguments, perspectives as to how this cognitive development, physical development, emotional development, language development, socio-emotional development proceeds. So we'll see these different uh, principles or controversies of human development, and then we'll see this in the last part of this presentation. We'll see the domains of development, these cognitive domains, social-emotional domains, physical domains, those broad domains. So in this presentation, first we'll see this breakdown of principles of human development with examples. The first principle is development is continuous and cumulative. Development is a gradual process. According to this principle, development is a continuous process and a cumulative process. It's a gradual process. Development does not happen overnight. So it occurs in abrupt leaps. So there is ups and downs during development. So for example, children gradually add height and weight over time, and the development of language, for instance, where vocabulary, so children acquire vocabulary in an incremental manner. So they start from first words, for instance, Baba and Mama to uh, Baba is coming, Mama is coming. So አባባ ከሚለው ቃል ወይም ባባ ከሚለው ቃል ወደ አባባ መጣ ማማ መጣች ወደሚል ያድጋል ማለት ነው። So development is continuous and cumulative. It starts from smaller steps to gradual steps, but there are also these leaps or abrupt changes. The second principle of development is development follows sequential patterns. Development processes through predictable stages or sequences. Although timing can vary. There are some predictable patterns, some orders. So development cannot occur in a haphazard manner. A child typically learns, for instance, to sit before crawling, then walking, then follows a specific sequence of motor skills. For instance, a child first, for instance, sits with his tummy. So it lies with his tummy, and then it sits, then it crawls, then it walks, then it uh, walks, then it jumps, and then it runs. So development follows certain predetermined patterns or organized patterns. ለምሳሌ ህፃን ልጅ መጀመሪያ እንደተወለዱ በቱሚያቸው ወይም በሆዳቸው ነው የሚተኙት። ከዛ በኋላ መንቀሳቀስ ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ በኋላ በሆዳቸው ተኝተው በስቶማካቸው ይተኙና መንቀሳቀስ ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ በኋላ ምንድነው የሚያደርጉት? ቁጭ ማለት ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ መሄድ ይጀምራሉ፣ መራመድ ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ መሮጥ ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ መዝለል ይጀምራሉ። ከዛ ክላይምብ ማድረግ ይጀምራሉ። ዛፍ ሊወጡ ይችላሉ። Development is predictable. For instance, development occurs in predictable pattern or milestones. So there are stages for development. A child's development with milestones like object permanence and symbolic thinking typically occurring within specific age range. For instance, there are milestones for development. These milestones are called stages. These stages can be continuous or discontinuous stages. Development proceeds from general to specific. So early development is based on broad general responses, and it becomes specialized and specific and refined. For instance, babies grasp, for instance, a baby's early grasping movements are general, for instance. They hold something with mobile with their 5 fingers. Then they later develop into, for instance, holding that same mobile apparatus with 2 fingers, with index finger and thumb. ለምሳሌ ህፃናት መጀመሪያ በሙሉ እጃቸው ነው የሚይዙት። በሙሉ በአምስቱም ጣታቸው ይዛሉ። ሞባይልም ሆነ ምን በአምስቱ ጣታቸው ወይም በሁለቱ እጃቸው ይዛሉ። ከዛ በኋላ ግን በሁለት ጣታቸው ይይዛሉ። አንድ ህፃን ልጅ እንደተወለደ በሌባ ጣቱና በአውራ ጣቱ የሆነ ነገር ወይም ሞባይል ሊሆን ይችላል ወይም ኩኪስ ሊሆን ይችላል መያዝ አይችልም። So development proceeds from general to specific, from general or from gross motor skills to fine motor skills. The other is development is influenced by heredity and environment. That means heredity or environment causes development. Both genetic factors, for instance, this heredity, chromosomal factors, biological factors, environmental factors, for instance, nutrition, social interactions, cultural factors, familial factors, the sibling factors, religious factors, all these play important role in shaping human development. A child's development, for instance, for height is influenced by genes. That means the gene that he inherits from his mother, and the actual height is also affected by nutrition. So height, for instance, is affected by nutrition, this biological factor, for instance, genetic factors, and a number of other factors. So development is influenced by a complex interplay of different factors: nutrition, social factors, cultural factors, biological factors, chromosomal malfunctioning. Different factors affect development. Development is interrelated. Is the sixth principle is development is interrelated. Physical, cognitive, emotional development are interconnected, interrelated, and they influence each other. For instance, the child's physical development affects his cognitive development. His cognitive development affects social development. For instance, interaction of a child with his peers is influenced by his thinking style, which in turn is influenced by nutrition or physical development. So physical development, cognitive development, social development, emotional development, moral development, spiritual development, all these are interrelated with one another. One aspect of development affects the other development. A child's social skill, for instance, is impacted by their cognitive abilities. For instance, your interaction with your peers is affected by your thinking ability, your intellectual ability. We call this cognitive pragmatics and cognitive mechanics. And their emotion regulation is affected by their, for instance, these cognitive abilities, intellectual abilities. So there are two kinds of these intellectual abilities. These are cognitive pragmatics and cognitive mechanics. Individual differences exist. So in development, there is individual difference. Each person develops at their own rate and pace in a particular way, in a unique way. And this is influenced by individual characteristics, temperaments, personalities. So, for instance, most children learn to walk around the same age, but some may walk earlier or later. So, ability to walk is influenced by an interplay of genetic or environmental factors, chromosomal factors, cultural factors, feeding styles. A number of these factors influence the rate of development, the rate of different aspects of development in children and infants. So we'll see this in this presentation. Also, we'll see these domains of development. Developmental psychology recognizes three broad domains of development: physical, cognitive, and socio-emotional development. We'll see each of these aspects of development in short. The physical development is encompasses changes in physical growth, such as height, weight, motor skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills, sensory capabilities. So physical development begins at conception and continues throughout the lifespan with different patterns of growth and decline in different stages of development. So when we say physical development, development can be characterized by an increase in specific traits or predispositions of the physical development domain or a decrease in the rate of development. So both a decrease in development and an increase in development in the rate of development in aspects of development encompasses physical development. So development can be quantitative or qualitative. And an increase in the rate of development is defined as development as long as there is a decrease or an increase. So I place emphasis on changes because change encompasses both an increase in the rate and a decrease in the rate of development. Uh, Physical development is therefore the first aspect of development. The second aspect is cognitive development. This development, cognitive development, occurs during infancy in the womb, and it denotes changes in thinking, reasoning, problem solving, abstract thinking, if-then thinking, hypothetical problem solving, hypothetical deductive reasoning. All this encompasses cognitive development. Even though the cognitive development of children is not as abstract as those of adolescents and adults, they have their own cognitive development. They have their own markers of cognitive development, such as perception, sensation, memory, and different aspects of cognition. So, cognitive development also encompasses, is characterized by intellectual capabilities such as memory, attention, language, perception, and how individuals process different information. The so-called this uh, thinking process or cognitive process. So the last one in the domain of this cognitive development in general is that social emotional development. This encompasses changes in social and emotional abilities, including emotions, relationship with others, personalities, temperaments. So within this domain are included these communication skills, empathy, cooperation, development of identity, social self-esteem, social skills, emotion regulation, all encompass these social emotional aspects of development. In our next discussion, we'll see Freud's psychosexual states. Freud's psychosexual states. Thank you for your attention.